homeless crisis that's been going on for quite some time in California. We had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people were interested in that subject. And so from there, we took a direction. I was going to do a little bit more deep diving on it, and I plan to cover it a lot more. One of the big questions we had during that last episode was, where did this $24 billion go missing? What's effective and what's not. And so I wanted to queue up that video and play it. And we can listen to Andrew make not good jokes some more, but I just wanted to queue up that video and play it because this is just going to be the network, the spider web of Los Angeles.
I noticed Chris got annoyed. I interrupted him, so I was dying.
Not really. I didn't get annoyed.
Oh, I thought you did. Your face looked a little annoyed.
No, dude. I'm like used to simps talking while I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Fucking dick.
Stuff, but you didn't see one from Garvey. Nobody knew who he was.
And just for the record, Todd Gloria won 55% of the vote. Larry Turner lost at 44.7%. So, yeah, it's a dang shame.
Yeah, and I was doing some research the other day, and what's contributed to the ratings, and a big part of it was this podcast specifically. So, good job to us. And
yeah, I ran across that too.
So we have. Don't Google that. But
no, I ran across that too. I saw that in my research. Full count, especially when Andrew's not on, the ratings go up even higher.
They go up higher. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. Andrew's very good for the sport of baseball. He supports all teams. So
all teams. Everyone.
3 balls, 2 strikes, pressure is on. This is where we discuss real estate, property improvement, and business. Together, we'll strategize on how to win. Welcome to the Full Count. Hey, welcome back to the Full Count podcast. We have the whole team here today. Homelessness will be a main topic, as well as the latest trades with the MLB, Yankees and Dodgers, and what that's all about. And then some surprises where our opinion might be a little bit controversial, but it is what it is, and we hope you enjoy it.
Just wanted to give a big shout out. We had on our last episode where we talked about Gavin Newsome and the homeless crisis that's been going on for quite some time in California. We had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people were interested in that subject. And so from there, we took a direction. I was going to do a little bit more deep diving on it, and I plan to cover it a lot more. One of the big questions we had during that last episode was, where did this $24 billion go missing? It's very easy to take a cynical mindset and just assume that there's like 4 or 5 people that ended up with this huge bag. Whenever I was diving into all these different rabbit holes, I just kept finding more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes, and kind of learned a little bit more of why it's not efficient. And just to rehash what was discussed in that last episode, there was the California audit discovered that they couldn't track the effectiveness of the homeless programs, how the money was being used, was it efficient? They couldn't track any of the metrics for success. I think I got a little bit more insight into that whenever I saw how complicated the web, the network of these programs, the nonprofits, the contractors, just the various agencies that are established, not just on the statewide level, but also on the local level. This is huge spider web. And it kind of makes sense.
There's a reason why there's a spider web, for sure, too.
There's that. And, it makes sense why you can't track what's effective and what's not. And so I wanted to queue up that video and play it. And we can listen to Andrew make not good jokes some more. But I just wanted to queue up that video and play it because this is just going to be the network, the spider web of Los Angeles. And if you grow beyond that, it gets way more complex. But anyways, do we have that video we can play and we'll react to it afterwards?
Nick, do you got
it? Let me pull it up if my computer can handle it.
That's why I've been laughing, because it's not even close.
What's not even close?
You got to pull it up, dude. He was talking for a reason.
Yeah. My computer's that slow with all of this. What do you want me to do?
Oh, Jesus. I also was laughing too because I noticed Chris got annoyed. I interrupted him, so I was dying.
Not really. I didn't get annoyed.
Oh, I thought you did. Your face looked a little annoyed.
No, dude. I'm like used to simps talking while I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fucking dick. Here we go. All right, we're
So
watching this, you said, Chris?
So yeah, at 4:22, let's watch it till 6:05. And by the way, this is a great channel. I can't see the name of it, but I think it talks about
how
this channel. This channel is based on where money goes and how it all works. We'll shout it out in a second, but this video is called the Homeless Industrial Complex, and I think that it's going to.
But according to Salary Cube and the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
No, that works.
Sorry,
that works.
Cut that out. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's watch it.
Statistics, this is roughly double the pay of the average CEO for organizations of this size in the private sector. But that's not actually the biggest problem. Most of the money entering this program goes to nonprofit partners. But since each of them are contracted for niche roles across dozens of different programs, the real work is bogged down in endless siloing of responsibilities and overhead. In his article, Tim Campbell talks about an experience where one agency provides outreach, another operates a shelter, a third provides support services, a fourth builds supportive housing, and a fifth manages housing's operations. Even though these are nonprofit organizations, they all want to protect their role so their people can keep their jobs, and they frequently get into turf wars over whose responsibility is what. They also don't have a direct line of communication to one another, since all reporting goes back through the LAHSA. Something like booking a hotel room for someone to spend the night in took the involvement of 10 nonprofit organizations, the police, hotel staff, and an oversight team at the LAHSA. That makes it almost impossible for the authority to provide assessment of the performance of a program because it gets bogged down in endless, "that wasn't my job," between all the unrelated nonprofits it works with. That would be bad enough if it wasn't for the fact that the housing authority isn't even the central authority within Los Angeles.
Yeah, so that's just LA. And like they said, that wasn't even the extent of LA. And then above that, you have what's called the California Interagency Council on Homelessness. It's called Cal ICH, which is great because it's kind of like California IC, which is kind of what it is. When I dug deeper onto this one, I started looking at all the people that were working for the Cal IC, and they're more of an advisory capacity, but they get funding, and then they're also advising on where to distribute this money into the local government. And when you look at like the people working on this problem, they're exactly who you think's working on this problem. It's like and it seems like the push is, we need more money. We need more money. It's never. I just don't. From what I could tell, it doesn't seem like it's more of a homeless industrial complex, like that video is titled. It doesn't seem like they're ever going to solve the problem. It just seems like they're going to need more money and more money and more money.
It sounds like the government agencies before 9/11, where the law enforcement, Department of Defense wasn't communicating with one another, and they would just keep everything to themselves, and they were just terrible at communicating. And it also sounds like the government that just spends endlessly. So is that what you're saying? That's like the problem with homelessness, is that they want to have this money to continue spending it. They don't really want to solve the matter. Is that what it is?
Well, I think it's way too convoluted. I think that everyone that's in this industry has an incentive not to solve the problem because they keep their jobs. Although they do seem passionate about ending homelessness, do they have the right leadership? I think it would be more effective if, for example, you had one person who was very well respected in project management. You got rid of all of this red tape. A good example, and I know this is going to make at least half the country's ears hurt, but if realistically, if you put someone like Elon to run this thing, I would think that we'd actually get it done. But it's just this big machine, and I don't really see it being successful the way it's currently formatted. Does anybody want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, and I think a great idea for us is, if we want job security, let's apply to Cowdick or whatever it's called. I would love to work for that, knowing I will always have a job. There's always going to be a problem for me to kind of solve. So if anybody could pull up the link to apply for them, I want $250K salary to do nothing.
You just can't be good at your job, Sway, and then you'll get the job. You'll keep it.
But this should be a major target of Vivek and Elon. This is what is wrong with our country right now. There's too many hands in the pot, and you can't do your job. And just, it kind of reminds me of a situation where you look at these big old construction projects, and depending on who works them, they get done. So for us, for the four of us, I think, Nick, I don't know if you lived here in Southern California. Remember when they were widening the 5 freeway and that was a Caltrans job? And that lasted fucking 15 years. If that was a private construction company, that project would have been done in 2 or 3 years. So I would say take this job responsibility away from who has it now, put it in a more efficient thing like a construction brand company or something. And these homeless people will be, I think they'll be gone, or at least the problem will be a lot better in a year or two.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nick, you were talking about famous projects that didn't really work out well. I think everybody's familiar with the high-speed rail in California. That's a great example of very poor leadership on a government project.
Right. Good. Went nowhere.
Yeah. They just spent billions and billions of dollars, and eventually they just kind of gave up on it.
Right.
Yeah. Is it still going on? Or did they pivot to LA to Vegas? I think I was reading something about that recently.
I think that at least at one point they just bailed on it.
But I think he's right. I think they're trying to start something else too, but it's going to end to nowhere again. So it's stupid. Yeah.
Right.
So a cost of $28 to $35 billion. So I guess there's a new high-speed rail. Yeah, I think that's what you're referencing.
Vegas.
We should dive into that one. But one thing I want to do, and I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to start looking more into some of these individual players and the agencies and update everyone. So if you guys want to hear more about this subject, and I know we're going to transition to talking about how it has an impact on real estate, but if you guys want to hear more about the subject, please shoot us a like and a subscribe, and we'll update you guys on any of our findings in the homeless cottage industry of California.
And I did want to surprise the audience with something. We have the county supervisor up in Stockton who was running for mayor, who's friends with Mike Tyson, Tom Patty. He's actually going to be on our podcast sometime in mid-January or early February, and he's going to talk to us about the homeless crisis going on in California and how he believes he can get it solved with a team of people. I think he's lining up right now, so that'll be amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, did you guys know that Nick has a girlfriend now?
Yeah, I heard about it at the same time you did.
She's actually the one that asked me if we had talked about how homelessness has affected housing pricing in certain areas.
Oh, okay.
Is she pro homeless, or what's her stance?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Episode, should we pick up where we did?
I mean, she works with the Vatican, so I assume she's pro homeless. No, not homeless people, but giving them some kind of help, right?
I think most of us, I mean, we all have morals. We are pro helping homeless people, but it's just gotten so excessive, and it's really a drug problem more than anything. And I think
you brought up a great point, Sway, which is, what are we? Are we pro homeless? The truth of the matter is one reason I like this subject so much is because let's say you're like a leftist person, you still want the programs to operate efficiently. Like that's still your values. And if you're, let's say, more of a fiscal conservative type of person, you want your tax-paying dollars to at least be valuable and go into something constructive. Even if you want taxes reduced, you still want them to be used more efficiently. And so I think that this issue in general is a good way for everyone at every walk of life to hold their politicians accountable.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter where you fall on the political spectrum. It's all about safety. And where we live now is a lot less safe than it was 10 years ago. And I'll tell you, I used to live in downtown LA, and I can't say when I first moved there that I had an opinion, good or bad, about homeless people. But living there, you see the shit. You see that it's not mental issues like what the news will say. It's drugs, it's alcohol, it's just bad decisions. And then people take advantage of that. So say, for example, I was driving home from work not too long ago, and I had to pass through Skid Row. And you see all these people that are whacked out on drugs, but at the same time, you could tell who the shot callers are there. You could tell who the drug dealers are there, and they're just feeding them with this. So, the problem, it multiplies because there's so many people in that pot. So many people profit from that, whether it's legally, more oftentimes illegally. It's a problem that's not going to be solved because there's just too much going into that. But at the end of the day, we just want to be safe. We just want the problem to be solved. We just want people to be safe, healthy, that kind of stuff. But it's not going to happen, at least not in California for a while.
Right. I think there's a reason for it. I think they want to keep it, unfortunately. Even the people, well, especially the people that work there, right? Chris, as you were kind of explaining. I think there's a more demonic way to it, to be honest. But let me just answer the question.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, what is it?
Let's hear it. I think, unfortunately, a lot of government agencies, in my opinion, they prefer to have most of us like at our bottom. So we're always relying on the government, and the more homeless people, the better. So they can have all these programs and kind of make people like us, the middle class, or people even higher than middle class, can all become bottom class and just rely on government. These politicians can continue to get rich and stay in office for years to come. And California is like that main state to bring it on everywhere.
Well, so I think that I agree with almost everything you said. I don't think that I'll put it like this. Like, if you're the CEO of Lockheed Martin or General Dynamics or any of these defense industry contractors, your thought isn't like, I want to oppress people. It's, what can I do to make this business run better? And so I would agree with what you said, except I don't think that these folks running these homeless programs have the intention of, I want more homeless people. It's, what can I do to make more money and excel in my career and make my nonprofit or my contracting agency or my political career? Right. What can I do to advance and what benefits me at this moment in time? So I agree with most of what you said. I mean, I'm sure there might be one or two people out there that are like, yeah, these homeless people are making this money, but I don't know if they view it through that lens. I think that at the end of the day, you're
right. And maybe someone like or a topic like ours will bring it to their attention to give them the reality that that's what it's doing. But these people come from high intellect, a lot of them, especially the ones calling the shots. I'm certain they know, by them growing in their position and by having this continue to stay around, they probably do understand that this is breeding more homeless people, unfortunately. So I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt completely, because this continues to go on and on and on.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the problem's outside of their scope. As long as they're taking home a fat salary, they can provide for their family, buy a house, all that stuff. You got to look the other way when you're able to pay your bills and live a Christian lifestyle, right?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, so let me answer
the cynical plan, Andrea. If you were to get like a magic wand in a perfect world, hey, I'm going to make a change. What would that change be? Like, how would you solve that problem now?
I think a lot of it would be to fire a bunch of people that work for those agencies. No,
everybody
work for those agencies. That'd be the way to go.
If I could do it, I think you have to put the folks in this situation in different categories, right? You have the folks who have obvious mental health issues, and there's a lot that can be said about the mental health facilities that have been shut down in California, and this is now the facilitation of that. But you have people who have obvious mental health issues. You have people who have drug issues. You have people who just like being free and don't like going to work. Those do exist. You have those cases where it's people down on their luck that really want an opportunity. You have like 5 or 6 different categories of people, maybe more than that. But if you really want to figure out, all of those folks have different solutions, right? And so you have to figure out where people are, like, what category is this person in at this place in time right now? And if I was in charge of, let's say Gavin Newsome made me like the CIA of homeless, where I could solve the problem under the radar, and I had like an infinite budget, I think you would have to put people to actually exist within those communities, figure out who's who, and then I would say half of them you could solve with government programs, and then the other percentage, whatever that is, you got to put them in the woods because they don't want responsibility, and that's fine. You have to accept that. And so you give them an island, you know what I mean? I think we just acquired, the government did an island, Epstein's Island, actually. We could send them over there, we could fund care packages by putting like cameras all around the island, and then we'll have like reality shows, and people who are very sympathetic to these causes can like purchase airdrops, and we can make it a big reality show.
Yeah, it'd be like the Hunger Games. It'd be,
it'll be like that. Maybe, hopefully, it'll be more ethical in there, and maybe they want to live in peace. You know what I mean? But I think that a solution like that would be appropriate. But I'm mainly joking there on the Hunger Games thing.
No, but I think really the majority of the problems, though, right? Even for all those categories of people, it stems down to one, mental health issues, and then two, drug issues, right? And those two go hand in hand. So I think if they look at tackling those two things and helping people with those two things, then they can get down to that second, third layer of, okay, well, what is their want, like you expressed, Chris, right? Why are they really homeless, like you said? Are they just want to be separated from society, or is there another underlying problem? So
Let me tell
I
you
would
guys a
say
story about
95% of the time it's drugs. You take too many drugs, it's going to mess up your mind, and that's what
yeah,
leads
right,
to mental health stuff. This is
right,
my idea. You get somebody
Yeah.
in these roles that's incentivized
right,
based on metrics of improvement. Hey,
right,
like for example, your base salary is 250. Cool, but in certain districts, if you could reduce homelessness by 10%, you get another 250, and then
right.
another 250. I think
Yep.
that's the only way we can solve a problem like that. If we're just going to throw money at this, might as well make
Yeah,
use of it.
right, exactly.
based on
But
some
then it could
research I
also,
saw, it looks like we're spending 200,000 per year per homeless person we're helping, which obviously seems
might as
like
well
to be
just pay them individually. Like,
yeah, we could just pay their rent,
right,
and then it would be cheaper,
right,
than these programs.
yeah.
But in Ireland, there is no rent. So
That's true.
I can see why you want to do that.
You know,
To answer the housing question about prices, I mean, I don't have that data prepared right now, but I can say, like in LA, for example, East Hollywood was like the spot to be, kind of, right? It was still a little bit, it wasn't like luxe, but now since the whole homelessness issue, like nobody wants to be there. So I imagine home prices have fluctuated downward in the last 5 to 8 years. But what I can tell you is I did some data to get Orange County data and LA County data, which there's always been a spread, right, Sway, in terms of like pricing between Orange County and LA. In 2015, before this homelessness was a huge issue, it was then, but now way worse, obviously. In 2015, the average home price in Orange County was $629,000, right? The average home price in LA County was $502,000. So that's a difference of about 25%, right? So 25% more expensive to live in Orange County. And again, correlation does not imply causation, but it gives me an idea, because now in 2024, what we're seeing is the difference now is 28.95%. So there's a 3.95% difference now as opposed to 2015. So it's more expensive by 3.95% to live in Orange County since that took place. If you keep that 25% difference, you add another 3.95%.
Yeah, I mean, so other factors aside, do you think that's because there's less homelessness in Orange County?
Yes, of course, 100%, way less.
Now, do you think that?
And wait, and they're strict in Orange County with homelessness. They're a lot more strict than they are in LA County,
Makes
and
sense.
so are the people. The people in Orange County are way more strict. They'll call the police and be like, "Hey, this guy's a pain in the ass," and they'll do something. They'll like move them around. They'll move them around constantly between cities. In LA, you won't really see that too much. The mayor also in LA is the mayor and the DA were obviously in LA way flexible as opposed to Orange County.
So
I thought it'd be a lot more than that, because there's not too many bad cities in Orange County. We think about it, Anaheim, Santa Ana, La Palma. Those might be sketchy. Garden Grove, but
we also got to keep in mind too. No, you're right. You would think it'd be a lot more. I mean, again, it's a 28.95% difference of LA County to Orange County in terms of pricing, but in 2015 it was only 25%. But we also have to remember LA County is huge. Like it's ginormous. Orange County is not a lot smaller, but it is smaller. So there's other several variables that lead to why LA County is still keeping its own. Essentially, there's so many people here too. You got to keep that in mind as well. In Orange County, I feel like you'll find more people, a family, like maybe a household of 2 or 4. In LA County, you'll probably find more multi-generational people occupying a property, essentially, because there's so many people.
How much of the homelessness do you think? So I know there's a lot of them that that are immigrants, right? There's a lot of them that are just coming from other states, right?
What kind of immigrant? Okay.
Yeah, like immigrants flooding into California because of the sanctuary rules, right?
What kind of immigrant is that? That's what he wants to know. How would you verbalize it?
What color is what he's asking?
No, I was gonna say, are you gonna say illegal or undocumented? That's all.
I mean, both, right? Legal and illegal. So it could be homeless people from other states, or it could be like, refugees or immigrants that have crossed the border.
Right.
According to Business Insider, and so take that with a grain of salt, but they're saying 90% of California homeless folks are from California.
Okay. So that's actually a good point. Now, do you think a lot of that is due to high cost of living, high housing prices in California?
Not really. Not really. I mean,
no? Really?
No, because a lot of people that have the wherewithal to understand they can't afford California, which sucks, they leave the state. And we keep seeing a bunch of people from Orange County and LA County leaving the state and San Diego County constantly. Yeah. And those are people that have blue collar jobs or whatever type of job, white collar jobs. So I don't really think the homeless people, there obviously is a percentage, I imagine it's small, single digits, where unfortunately, yes, they have no one to turn to and they have very little means of opportunity.
Right.
And they become homeless, which sucks. But I don't think it's the majority or even a high minority. I don't think that's an excuse.
Okay, so you don't think that's one of the biggest factors affecting homelessness? You think it's a minimal factor?
Yeah, I think it's drugs and mental issues too.
And mental issues, yeah.
Yes, schizophrenics, whatever. But
right.
I mean, I would say in most cases, since we're not experts, we shouldn't talk about this. But the experts can't handle this, and they're ridiculously dumb. And it's getting way worse. That it's going to take people that aren't experts in the field, but are someone like Chris. That have what do you have that certificate in project management?
Yeah, PMP. But I think what I would say in the vein that you're talking about, and I think you probably get the same feeling that I get sometimes when I'm reading these articles and doing research on it. It's not that I think that they're dumb. I feel like there's an agenda, and it could be various different agendas, but I can't always believe why someone's saying the reason is. It's kind of like when you're learning that an ingredient in food causes cancer, where you can research a little bit more and you find out that it doesn't cause cancer, and you can look, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all the other causes.
Yeah, I just want to I want people's agendas to stay out of these prescriptions, and that's what I think the issue is with the experts. Is the experts have to agree with some sort of institution to remain with their expert status, and that kind of taints some of their opinions.
Yeah. So, did you guys hear about the governor of California making the state a super sanctuary now, since it was just a sanctuary before? What?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's pushing back on Trump's situation, right? On Trump being a president.
I don't think it was.
I don't know if that's why he's doing it.
I think it was San Diego saying that they were going to be super sanctuary.
A super sanctuary. Yep.
So really?
It was the mayor. Yeah, it was the mayor of San Diego, not the governor of California.
Yep. Super sanctuary.
Damn. Yeah, Todd Gloria.
Yep. So
we just had who did we have on, Chris? Unfortunately, he lost.
Turner. Yeah, it sucks that he lost.
Oh.
It was close though. It wasn't I think it was 5 points off, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was even less, but that was too bad. A lot of people in San Diego, clients and friends, told me that they hardly saw any marketing of any sort or people talking about Todd Gloria, and they were all talking about Turner, the normal person outside, when they're walking around, going to restaurants or whatever. And unfortunately, Todd won again, so that's really sad. Especially
that's kind of like the Steve Garvey situation. Why Schiff won his or re-won his is nobody heard anything from Garvey this whole election cycle. I didn't see one commercial. I didn't see one advertisement. And
you mean Schiff?
No,
yeah.
Schiff.
I mean, he had commercials and stuff, but you didn't see one from Garvey. Nobody knew who he was. I thought he was. But
missed opportunity.
Walk into that victory because it's almost like he was unopposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just for the record, Todd Gloria won 55% of the vote. Larry Turner lost at 44.7%. So, it's a dang shame.
Yeah, that is.
We need more subs for that to happen. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you guys, whoever's listening and watching needs to subscribe and share this and like this, because I think the more we do episodes of us four, I think we'll get even more views and more people interested, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, comment what you want us to talk about next.
Yeah. All right. So next topic, let's get into baseball. What's up with that, Sway? Tell us about the Dodgers and the Yankees, the two evil empires. I hope that continue to get to the World Series and all the amazing trades that have taken place.
I'll start with the Yankees because they're interesting to say the least in this offseason. So obviously they lost the Soto deal, which I think Soto was going to leave no matter what. He was asking for too much, like the luxury suites and a few other things that's just not
For
the Yankee
family?
way. Yeah, and I was reading about like that decision by Cashman, and he mentioned that there's other players that are high profile players that generate a lot of money that don't get their own suite. So how would that look if we gave that to Soto, made him the exception? How would Cole feel? How would Judge feel? It probably would just create some animosity, and he probably really isn't worth it. Like he could hit like a motherfucker, like we know that, but he's not great in right field. He's not he's a middle of the road defender at best. I think the Mets paid for him, like way overpaid for him, and
$765 million.
After years 5 or 6 of that contract. So I think the Yankees did a great job at just to a point. We'll push them to a point, but we're not going to go above and beyond. They'll thank themselves 5 years from now. Who else did they bring on? They just finalized that trade for Cody Bellinger. That's an interesting one too. As a Dodger fan, we'll always have love for Cody Bellinger. He is on a decline, but he is a premium defender in center field. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. Him in center, Judge and right, or actually, I think
or first base maybe. No,
Judge was in center this year, but he's going to go back to right now that they have a center field. So I like these moves that the Yankees are making, and I love that they didn't sell the farm with Soto.
I think that was great strategy on them that they were able to kind of run up the number on Soto by making it seem like the Yankees were going to sign him, and that's probably why the Mets overpaid by so much with Cohen, because that's insane. He got more than Shohei Ohtani, which makes absolute no sense considering the guy pitches and hits, and all that Soto can do is just hit the ball. I mean, which is obviously great, but to get more than Shohei doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are sneaky in a great way, and they probably stuck to the Mets a little bit because other than Soto and Lindor, who stands out on the Mets? They lost Maeda. They'll probably lose Alonso. I don't feel like right now they have a championship caliber team, even though they have some big names.
Right. Fried too, Max Fried. He's also a pitcher now for the Yankees. So that's
it was like 218 mil. I think 5 years, 218 mil. That was a great pick. I've always been a fan of him. He's young.
Yeah.
I think his injuries are behind him. He's going to slide right in with Garrett Cole at the top, him at number 2. I'm loving these Yankees moves.
Me too. And they got rid of Nestor, which Chris I saw was a little bit depressed about because he loved Nasty Nestor. The pitcher, because of his nice little mustache. Actually, that's more of a Nick joke because he's an Italian, so never mind.
You know who loves Nestor?
Who's that?
Freddie Freeman.
Really? Oh, duh. Yeah, he hit the freaking grand slam.
So, Dodger fans, we love Nestor, Freddie especially. Thank you for that. Thank you for giving us this, or handing us this World Series, pretty much.
Damn. So you're saying that there was no friction once they got to the World Series?
Easy. It was cake. 5 games. I was hoping it would go further because I had tickets to Game 6, and I would have loved to see the Dodgers win it all in person. But
I was a little disappointed that Andrew. I was a little disappointed that you guys didn't do more episodes talking about it until it just became a very easy World Series, and it made more sense. But it would have been nice to see you guys talk smack more about it. But I felt like you had the energy, Sway, but I don't think Andrew was repping the Yankees that hard this World Series.
Yeah, very true.
I was repping them a little bit. I was trying to be a little objective, though, for some reasons.
You never know. These opportunities to go to the World Series are few and far between in your life. You gotta go all in. That's why I'm kicking myself for not buying tickets to Game 1. I'll probably always regret that decision.
How many World Series games have you been to, Sway?
I went to, in 2017, I went to 4 home games and then 1 game in Houston. So it was 5 of those 7 games I was there.
Oh, nice.
2018, I went to 2 of the games.
Okay.
2020, we didn't make it out. We just had our kids, and then didn't make it in 24.
Right.
Okay.
So quite a few.
Yeah. Do you think the Yankees and the Dodgers will, in the next 4 years, will face each other again or get close?
I'm hoping so, because that's what everybody wants. There wasn't, over the past few years, we've had some kind of lackluster World Series with the opponents, like the Rangers being in there, the Diamondbacks. There's not a bigger buzz than Yankees Dodgers, and that's what baseball needs. I think baseball's on the up and up compared to all the other sports. Say, for example,
think so?
compared to the NBA, which is their ratings are plummeting, whereas more people are adopting baseball. And I just think like that, like exciting World Series, even if it didn't live up to like what we thought it would be, it was still great for the sport. And I think we need more of that.
I love that you're saying that, because creating full count was one of those things where I was like, I feel like baseball's on the trajectory upward in the last 20 years or maybe less. And but I want to know why you think baseball's actually on the up and up as opposed to
other sports. Do you mean internationally or do you mean nationally, or do you mean
I'm talking about nationally, no, internationally, no. I'm talking nationally.
Wait, no, I was like globally it's on the up and up.
Really?
Japan,
Japan
are just taking baseball to another level to where it's never been. Like baseball's always been super popular in Japan, but now it's everything.
Right. What about nationally though? Do you think baseball's on the actual up and up?
I would say so. And as much as I feel like a lot of people hate Manfred, he's done some really good things for the league. The pitch clock was probably the best thing that could have happened to baseball, because if you're not super invested in the game, in the sport, it's tough to watch a 3.5, 4 hour game. Now that they're about 2.5 hours, that's manageable.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big thing, is like, hey, baseball could be slow, baseball could be boring, but if you condense it and there's more action, hey, maybe I'll tune in where otherwise I would have, watch a Clipper game or something. Who knows?
There's a new rule they want to implement, I think. Right, Sway? There's a new rule that I forgot the name, but basically when you're about to have when you're at 2 outs, you can bring a player. I think you have to be in the last inning. You can bring anyone in the lineup to come up and bat. Do you remember the name of that?
The golden rule, and I think that's been shot down. I would say it's too gimmicky.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like, when we were little and we'd play, baseball on the street or in the park, and we do like a ghost runner on third, or we'll do like some other thing, or you play tetherball, do black magic. It ruins the integrity of the game. Well, to me at least.
You think so? What about you, Chris? Do you like that or no?
Do I like what? Oh yeah, once I got adjusted to it, we're talking about the shot clock, right? For pitching?
No. We're talking about. Go ahead, Sway. If you can explain it.
So the golden rule is, I think the parameters were in the 9th inning, you could bring up anybody you want in a certain spot, regardless if it's not their spot in the order. So say, for example, Ohtani just batted first, got out, bases loaded, 2 outs. You could bring up Ohtani again to face that pitcher.
Yeah, I can see why you like it as a Dodgers fan for sure.
No, I don't like it. I think it's a little too much.
Sorry, I was like looking at the ratings based on what you said. That kind of shocked me, but I think you're right.
I noticed your eyes were not paying attention. That's why I called you out.
Well, somebody has to do research while someone's talking, and
Nick should be doing it.
No. You are right though, Sway. The rule changes are key reason. There is an increase in TV streaming across the board. I'm actually surprised about that. I thought baseball was kind of trending down nationally and up internationally. But it does seem that you're right. And it does make sense. For me, the time limit for the pitching, it took a little bit of getting used to, because I was used to like showing up to games late. Whenever they made those changes, like if you try to show up like an hour after it started, you're going to be in a way different place in the game than you were before the rule changes. You could show up an hour late and just be in the 3rd inning and you'd be fine. Now you get to the interesting part of the game. Now you're like 6th, 7th inning,
I think they did that too, to compete with football and viewership, to kind of keep it around the same timeline.
Yeah, it was a good thing. I think it's something you had to get used to, but a good thing overall, and it will make the sport a lot more interesting. I think the more games they can take out of baseball, over the course of a season, the more interesting it'll get. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. There's a good financial incentive for that.
Yeah, and I was doing some research the other day, and what's contributed to the ratings, and a big part of it was this podcast specifically. So, good job to us. And
I ran across that too.
So we have. Don't Google that. But
no, I ran across that too. I saw that in my research. Full count, especially when Andrew's not on, the ratings go up even higher.
They go up higher. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. Andrew is very good for the sport of baseball. He supports all teams. So
all teams, everyone.
I wanted to add one thing. Don't you think if they add that golden rule though, with sports gambling, DraftKings and things like that, wouldn't people get more involved, like wanting to predict which player of the lineup's going to come up?
I would
especially
say
if you don't have a Shohei.
Sporting is almost betting is almost a science, but if you throw a complete wild card into that, it's going to change the game.
Yeah,
or at least how I would see it, because you have your over unders, you have like your all that kind of stuff. How are you going to bet on that when anything can happen in the ninth inning?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that's a good rule to implement.
Yeah, that changes everything. Yeah, the over unders, the money lines, everything.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Now you just need to add steroids and we're good to go.
They should add steroids, dude, in a way. But let's go to Dodgers. Blake Snell is the latest pickup, and what do you think of that? And then Teoscar Hernandez, is he going to stay or is he going to go?
So Blake Snell, I've always respected him. I've always thought he's a great pitcher. He does walk a lot of people, and I'm not too thrilled about this pickup. Like, I like him. I just think that 5 years is too long. I would have been happy with 3 years. So he's 32 right now. By the time he's at the end of this contract, he'll be 37. If we just go based on statistics of how long pitchers last, most don't reach 37. So I think we'll get 2 good years out of Snell, and then who knows what happens after that. But a big ticket player like that, you had to give him that 5 years, and we just happened to be the team that was willing to do it.
Right. And real quick about Blake Snell, I have a realtor coming on the podcast, so I think we'll be releasing it sometime. Actually, by the time this goes on, we'll already have the podcast episode. But she was the realtor for Blake Snell, and he bought a place in Tampa with the water view, which is amazing because I believe now that Blake Snell is going to come over here, he's probably going to buy something in like the South Bay, Manhattan Beach, or Hermosa Beach. That's where I predict. Probably around like 6 to 10 million. And I bring this up because Nick and I would do this where we would predict where baseball players are going to be buying. And overall, I think we were pretty right. Like with Shohei Ohtani, we said that he wouldn't live by the ocean. He'd probably buy inland in the mountains or something like that. And he did. He lives in La Cañada, Flint Ridge. So with that said, I think Blake's going to go by the ocean again, not like Encino area where like Mookie is. So that adds fun to the podcast. What about Teoscar? Huh?
Are you his realtor here in LA?
I can't say that. I'm trying to, so we'll see.
Is that the same realtor that helped you get another client that you had before?
No. This lady, I cold called her. And I told her about what we do, and she came on the podcast. Her name is Leanne. So she's going to be great. I think you guys are going to like her.
For all you sales folks that heard that, cold calling works. So
it does.
It's not a dead sign.
It does work. Teoscar Hernandez, is he leaving or going? And is he going to be a Yankee? Because I heard that might be the case.
We would love for him to come back. I'm thinking whoever he goes with, it'll be like a 3-year, $20 million a year ish, 22 to 20, 22, 24, something like that. So I don't know if the Dodgers are willing to pay that, and I'm sure they're at the bargaining table right now. But so many people can use him, or so many teams can use Teoscar on their team. The Yankees, where would he go? Like left field for the Yankees? So you'd have Judge, Belly, Teoscar. That'd be a pretty good line.
I heard Teo is, he's a great player, but is he a really strong left fielder, though?
He's average.
He's average, right? Yeah, but he's got an arm.
He's got an arm. He could hit. He could get on base. He's a good clubhouse guy. So whatever team gets him is going to be, I'm hoping the best for him. I hope he does come to the good side again. but I won't be sad to see him go.
I hope he does, because then he's gonna have to buy property, and then maybe I can get in his ear. So we'll see. What about I heard Kike Hernandez is free agent. Is that true?
He's a free agent. Once again, another like beloved Dodger, but I don't think he's coming back. And if he does, it would have to be like a $2 million deal, like 1 year deal.
Why though?
That's low.
He's
a
freaking
utility
amazing
player.
though.
During the regular season, he's average at the plate.
Okay.
He's a good.
But he comes through.
He does in October, but you can't always rely on that in the postseason. It's good like folklore, and that's what he's known for. But can you consistently rely on someone's only good in October? Like, it's a long season. You don't know what can happen. We'd rather have someone that's at least going to get us to that point to get us to the postseason, and then see what happens. I don't know if Kike is that guy anymore. We love him.
How old is he?
We'd love to see him back. He's probably early 30s.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's young, pretty young.
Yeah.
But he plays every single position, so I would imagine. I don't know. I think they should keep him. I think it'd be dumb if they let him go, but we'll see.
I think if it's the Dodgers, $1 or $2 million. If it's somebody else, probably $3 or $4 or $5 million on a 1 year deal.
I don't know how that is even how do you say it? Quantitated?
Yeah.
I don't know how you
don't need him. They want him. They don't need him. There's other teams that need Kike Hernandez.
Right. Like the Padres?
Even the Padres, that'd be a good fit, but I don't know if he'd want to go to the Padres. So who knows?
Why?
Money talks,
Tell
though,
us
right?
why.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of
Padres
bad blood in the trenches with that, and Manny Machado is an absolute dickhead. Who wants to play with that guy? That's one thing that came up during the Soto talks is Soto didn't get along with Manny Machado during his time.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And we've seen Chris, you probably remember the very public arguments in the dugout between him and Tatis, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's always had Tatis has always had an interesting relationship with the coaches. Like I remember, do you guys remember whenever he had to apologize for hitting a grand slam?
I remember that. Yeah.
Really? Why?
There was some kind of it was the weirdest thing. It was some kind of unspoken rule not to run the score up, but the score wasn't even that high. We weren't in the double digits. Let's see.
When you were saying Manny Machado was getting in arguments, were you saying with Tatis or Soto though?
With Tatis, but the common denominator is Manny Machado. He historically doesn't get along with people. Even on the Dodgers, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way in that one half year he spent with us in 2018.
So he's kind of like the Nick of our team.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
I was gonna say Chris, but his eyes kept wandering, so I didn't think he was gonna get it. All right, I think that's pretty much covers everything, right, for tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
Chris, anything you want to say? Good.
No, it was good getting everybody back on. We should do another one next week. I'm gonna be a little remote though, but I'm gonna bring my laptop and everything. So if you guys want to do it next week, I'm down to do one. The channel's been growing, and it's good to see that. It's time to take it to the next level, heading into 2024. Let's get up to 400 subscribers before the end of the year, and then from there, we need to get 1,000 next year.
Yeah.
So,
this is our first time all four of us have been on too, I think.
No, not the first time.
I think we had one or two.
In a while.
Yeah, there was that one episode where we were talking about killing those birds that I think we were all
Yes.
Right. Well, I think
Chris bored everybody.
Yeah.
Look at Chris. He's like, fuck.
He's like, fuck you guys. I'm done with this call.
No, that was a badass story. But Andrew wasn't actually there. Andrew, it was.
Yeah, I don't think I was there though.
Yeah, no.
For that story, it was just me, Sway, and Nick. But we've had each other we've been on one time, I think, in the past.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember that.
Let's change that. Let's make that our New Year's resolution.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening in. If you like the channel, subscribe, and write us. Let us know what you want us to talk about, any topics you're interested in, any controversies, and we're happy to talk about it. So, till the next one.
Damn, we both did that.
Hey, I know what you think now. I know you that well.
All right, guys.
All right, that was
There's
great, guys. Thank you.
There is. Hold on one second. There is an echo. I don't know where it's coming.